The international community, as well as some international human rights organizations, have considered Leila De Lima as the first political prisoner under the Duterte administration. The Liberal Party, the political party of Senator De Lima, as well as their allied local and foreign press, have been portraying Duterte as some sort of a repressive tyrant in the mold of Hitler even before he got elected, with a clear, clean, and convincing margin of over 6 million votes, the highest in Philippine political history. Prior to her arrest on February 24, 2017, Senator Leila De Lima has been included by Foreign Policy magazine in their 2016 Top 100 Global Thinkers for standing up to an extremist leader. The international narrative about Senator Leila De Lima goes something like this. When she was still the chair of the Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights, Senator De Lima dared to question and investigate President Duterte for alleged extrajudicial drug-related killings happening under his watch. And in that same narrative, allegations of Senator Leila De Lima's involvement in the illegal drug trade have been reduced as mere efforts of the Duterte administration to silence. Human Rights Watch has been at the forefront of making sure that the international community rally behind Senator Leila De Lima. In September 2016, Senator De Lima was removed by her fellow senators as the chair of the Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights. Philip Kine, the Deputy Asia Director of Human Rights Watch, called for her reinstatement. Kine said that the Senate is imperiling the Philippine public by covering up allegations of state-sanctioned murder rather than exposing them. But what actually happened during the Senate investigation chaired by Senator Leila De Lima last year? That hearing actually had two major parts. The first part attempted to link Duterte himself to the killings going on, while the second part was an attempt to present an alleged member of the Davao Death Squad. The Senate hearing was live streamed. However, it was conducted in Filipino. The international community could only understand it as it was reported by our local press, which has been largely anti-Duterte since the elections. For the first part, two major witnesses were presented. The first one was Hara from Pasay City. Hara admitted that her husband was really a crystal meth pusher and was planning to surrender. However, her husband and father-in-law were killed by Pasay police officers on July 7. Murder charges have already been filed against the police officers implicated in that incident. What's worth noting in Hara's testimony was what she said about who runs the illegal drug trade in their city. She mentioned it while Senator Trillanes was asking her questions.
Sinabi niyo na dati siya nagtutulak. Sino yung supplier niya?
Wala po.
Saan siya kumukuha ng supply?
Yun nga po, kumbaga sabi ko nga po sa inyo, pantawid gutom lang po ang ginagawa niya.
Hindi, miski na, kahit papaano.
Sa pinakaano po dun, sa Pasay, kasi sabi ko nga po sa inyo, Pasay po, ang balita po talaga doon ay pulis rin po yung nagbabagsak.
Yon.
The second witness is Mary Rose from Antipolo City. She admitted that both her parents were crystal meth pushers. According to her, her parents were killed 2 days after they remitted drug sales to a group of police officers in Antipolo on June 20. Let's listen to what she said.
Cellphone? Okay, so ano pong nangyari after that?
Tapos dali-dali pong umalis yung mama at papa ko. Tapos dala po nila yung iriremit na pera dun sa Rabe.
Sino hong nagsabi na may ireremit na pera?
Papa ko po, tsaka si mama.
Sinabi po ng inyong mga magulang sa iyo?
Opo.
Nagtanong ka bakit magre-remit sila ng pera?
Opo, dahil po siya shabu, last na po yun. Yung magre-remit sila, last na po talaga yung pera na yun na i-remit po nila kasi magbabago na sila.
O, ano yung sinasabi mo na magre-remit ng pera
Opo.
sa Kerabe
Opo.
na sinasabi mong pulis?
Pinagbentahan po
Bakit sila magre-remit?
Pinagbentahan po ng shabu yun.
So sinasabi mo ngayon na nagbebenta ng droga ang inyong mga magulang?
Opo, galing po sa kanila yun.
The police officers that were implicated in the murder of the parents of Meros were actually immediately ordered relieved by Director General Ronald De La Rosa, Duterte's chief of police. Right away, investigations were undertaken against them for possible murder charges, among other offenses. Senator De Lima herself congratulated Duterte's chief of police for his swift action.
Safe ka doon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Direk.
Thank you, Senator Bam. Thank you for your prompt action, Director General De La Rosa. Thank you so much. Senator Ejercito, Senator JV, your turn, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
In fact, in the official Facebook page of Senator De Lima, we could find the article about De Lima congratulating Duterte's chief of police. You see, the wheels of accountability were actually put into motion to ensure that the police officers implicated in the murder of drug pushers highlighted in the Senate hearing would be prosecuted. And that contradicts what was said by Leni Robredo, the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines and party mate of Senator Leila De Lima, in her videotaped message for a side session of the 60th United Nations Commission on Narcotic Drugs annual meeting on March 16, 2017.
Must be founded on integrity. The public must ask why no one is being held accountable. The public must...
So what can we infer from what transpired during the Senate hearing? These killings were not actually state-sanctioned. They were committed by bad elements of the police force or by the drug syndicates themselves, which, by the way, Duterte admitted to being protected by some police officers and some government officials. And one of them was Senator Leila De Lima, allegedly, when she was still the Secretary of Justice. That is why one of the first things that Duterte did was name and fire 5 current and retired police generals implicated as protectors of the illegal drug trade by intelligence reports. This was then followed by another list implicating more police officers and government officials, which included Senator Leila De Lima. The second part of the Senate investigation centered on the testimony of Edgar Matubato. Edgar Matubato was an alleged member of the Davao Death Squad. Obviously, this part was no longer about current events, but about incidents that happened when Duterte was still a mayor of Davao City. Edgar Matubato had a lot of inconsistencies in his sworn testimony, and they were pointed out by the senators who grilled him during the Senate hearing. But I won't discuss each one of them here. What I would like to highlight here was the fact that Senator Leila De Lima knew about Edgar Matubato way back in 2015. On May 25, 2015, when Duterte was still a mayor, the National Bureau of Investigation was already building a case about the Davao Death Squad after a witness came forward. The Secretary of Justice, Leila De Lima, didn't name the witness. She said the witness was already put under the protection of her department's witness protection program. De Lima didn't say whether the witness named Duterte. On June 2, 2015, The Inquirer reported that De Lima disclosed that the witness named the people involved in the summary executions committed by the Davao Death Squad. Then Secretary De Lima said that Duterte allegedly ordered the Davao Death Squad killings. Duterte actually challenged De Lima to file a criminal case against him, but De Lima never did. But this was what Edgar Matubato did in September 2015. He and his wife appeared before Prosecutor Roman Parocha. They executed their own affidavits against the policemen. And appearing before Prosecutor Parocha, Matubato stated that the 5 accused policemen gave out orders to kill criminals. In that affidavit, Matubato said that those 5 police officers ordered him to kill criminals. He didn't say that it was Duterte who ordered him to do it. As a mayor, Duterte had no immunity from lawsuit, from any lawsuit. Leila De Lima during that time did not present Edgar Matubato to the public at all. Why did she have to wait for Duterte to become president? Why now that Duterte has access to documents, intelligence reports, and resources to pin down De Lima's alleged involvement in the illegal drug trade in the Philippines? As early as May 2015, Duterte, who at the time didn't yet announce that he was running for president, was already questioning Leila De Lima about the illicit activities happening within the national prison, which, by the way, was under the department that Leila De Lima was handling.
Look at your own back. There is a more serious crime being committed every day. Yung lumalabas ng prison, nag-hold up, nagkikidnap, tapos bumabalik dyan sa munting lupa. Yung mayayaman na lumalabas dyan, binabayaran. Ngayon, magtanong ako, kasali ka ba doon sa pera? Bakit nakakalabas at nakakapasok? Bakit nakakapasok yung mga babae? Bakit nakakapasok yung magagandang pagkain? Bakit nakakapasok yung baril? Bakit sila nakakaluto ng shabu dyan? You answer for that to the nation. Huwag mong sabihin na pa-red ko lang. No. Iyong bureau yan. Nandoon ako sa Mindoro, lumabas yung sablayan. Ang iyong penal colony guard, nagbibenta ng shabu, kasali yung preso sa labas. What do you think is happening to this country? I'm the only local official openly talking against drugs. You have the goal to just say now, pinapatay ko yung mga kriminal. Anong ginawa mo sa mga kriminal dito sa Pilipinas? Answer me.
This is what Duterte meant with what he said about sablayan and crystal meth being cooked inside the national prison.
Ibinunyag naman ng convicted drug lord na si Ruben Chu sa NBI na mismong sa New Bilibid prisons galing ang mga drogang ibinebenta niya sa Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm. Sabi pa ni Chu, may maliit na shabu lab sa NBP. Nagpapatrol, Zian Ambrosio. Matapos maresto ng NBI Anti-Illegal Drugs Unit sa labas ng Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm, ang convicted drug lord na si Ruben Chu at prison guard na si Arbe Duron sa isang buy-bust operation, isinama ngayon si Chu sa NBP Extension Facility sa loob ng NBI. Malapit kung saan nakadetine ang 19 na convicted drug lords. Ayon sa NBI, nagtangka si Chu na manuhol sa NBI agents.
Hindi natin pinakinggan yung kagustuhan niya na ibalik lang namin siya sa loob ng Sablayan Penal Colony, magbibigay daw siya ng 15 million pesos.
Nadiskubre rin ang maluhong pamumuhay ni Chu sa loob naman ng Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm. Nakatira siya sa kubol na nasa loob ng compound na may gate. May mga sasakyan pa siya na ginagamit umano para maglabas-masok sa kulungan. Malaya rin naman siya nakakatanggap ng mga bisita. Matagal na minamatyaga ng NBI si Chu na malayang nakakapagbenta ng shabu sa labas ng kulungan. Pero ayon kay Chu, hindi sa Sablayan niluluto ang shabu.
Binanggit mismo ni Robentio na yung items niya ay galing sa National Bilibid Prison.
On May 26, 2017, in reaction to what Leila De Lima said that she would be Duterte's watchdog, Duterte hinted that Leila De Lima has no moral ascendancy to do it.
Ko sa kanya, hoy, iha, huwag mo ako masyadong pakialaman sa bunganga ko. You better look at your own backyard because you have a very serious problem there. Shabu is being cooked. Shabu started during her time. Siya ang magbantay sa akin. May access ako ngayon sa lahat ng documents why she started late.
You see, this is the difference between Leila De Lima and President Duterte. Leila De Lima did not file a criminal case against Mayor Duterte when she had all the resources to do it and when Duterte did not yet have immunity from lawsuit. Meanwhile, Duterte followed through his promise to have Leila De Lima investigated for the illicit activities happening within the national prison when she was still the Secretary of Justice. And now, there is a criminal case filed in our courts against Leila De Lima. But the international community is calling this criminal prosecution nothing but political persecution. Human Rights Watch wanted her released. On March 16, 2017, the EU Parliament even passed a resolution urging the Philippine government to drop these charges and release her immediately. And on March 24, 2017, the New York Times released an editorial entitled Accountability for Duterte. The New York Times said that Senator De Lima was arrested on spurious charges and that she took bribes from drug traffickers. They wanted De Lima be released immediately and all politically motivated charges against her dropped. In February 2015, on behalf of former President Gloria Arroyo, Amal Clooney filed a complaint at the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention. During that time, the Secretary of Justice, Leila De Lima, criticized Mrs. Clooney. She said that Clooney definitely knew that the executive is not the branch of government that issues commitment or detention orders of those accused of committing a crime. A commitment or detention order issued against an accused in accordance with a state's independent judicial processes is recognized as a valid cause for restraining one's liberty. In October 2015, the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention decided that former President Gloria Arroyo's detention was illegal under international law and that she was detained for political reasons. During that time, Human Rights Watch, the EU Parliament, and the New York Times did not call for the release of Gloria Arroyo. What makes Leila De Lima special? Another glaring silence of Human Rights Watch, EU Parliament, and the New York Times concerns Ronnie Dayan and Rafael Ragos, the co-accused of Leila De Lima, who were also ordered arrested by a Philippine court. Rafael Ragos worked as Bureau of Corrections chief under De Lima. He testified in a congressional hearing that on several occasions, he personally delivered millions of pesos to De Lima's house. The money allegedly came from detained drug lords. The Human Rights Watch, the EU Parliament, and the New York Times are not calling for their immediate release of Rafael Ragos. If they think that Leila De Lima is innocent of benefiting from the illegal drug trade within the national prison, then it follows that Rafael Ragos is also innocent. After all, Ragos is in jail because of Leila De Lima. What makes Leila De Lima special? Meanwhile, Ronnie Dayan was De Lima's driver bodyguard. They both admitted that they had an affair for 7 years. He allegedly served as the bagman of De Lima. Just like Ragos, he is in jail because of Leila De Lima. And again, Human Rights Watch, the AU Parliament, and the New York Times are not calling for the release of Ronnie Dayan. Ronnie Dayan is in prison because of Leila De Lima. Why are they silent about it? What makes Leila De Lima special?